third chapter, very prominent chapter as per types of sources and historical construction. Types of sources and historical construction. When I started my preparation, many of my seniors, if I say almost all my seniors used to say, "Kya first 4 chapters are of no importance." Almost all of them said कि first 4 chapters are of no importance. But I will say today, first 4 chapters are the soul of history. The first 4 chapters of this book, Ancient India by R.S. Sharma, they are the soul of soul. They are the soul of history. They tell you what is history. They tell you the approach of history. They tell you the construction of history. Without this, history will be the subject of mere facts. You will never know what to do in history as an optional. So I will request to all of you that go thoroughly through the first 4 chapters. Resources. Now, archaeology. The first important resource, archaeology. And in archaeology, the most important thing is radiocarbon dating. In modern world, in pre-modern world, only Greeks knew the approach of learning history. The objective approach, the approach of messages. In modern world, geography, history, political science, they did not existed as a subject. The approach of subjects in modern world was different. In every period, the things which are relevant, mathematics was relevant, philosophy was very relevant. So in pre-modern world, educational syllabus was different. In modern world, we have 2 streams. Science, which means R&D, research and development. Second is humanities, the subjects directly dealing with human being. History, sociology, public administration, psychology. But in present scenario, these subjects are also constructed on scientific lines. Example, if we say birth of Varna system in later Vedic period, what, why, importance. Now the history which is being written today, it is written on a scientific parameter. Nationalist approach, Orientalist approach, imperial approach, the general approach. Earlier, this approach was not present, but historical sense was present. Now you will say, what is the difference between approach and sense? I'll come to that point, then I'll tell you. When I'll come up to Puranas, then I will tell you, see, historical sense was present. This is a very big blame of Europeans that we Indians lack the sense of writing history. So now, radiocarbon dating, one of the biggest sources, archaeological sources. Digging the ground, the things are buried below the ground. Harappan civilization was buried below the ground, otherwise we would have not known about such a developed civilization 4,000 years back. So the art of digging and taking out the remains and then analyzing the history. Acha, you will dig. There are two types of digging. One is vertical digging, other is horizontal digging. Vertical digging decides the layers. It's a layer based digging. Which layer? This is a Mauryan layer, post-Mauryan layer, Gupta layer, etc. This way the vertical digging goes on. Horizontal layer is very costly. Now when you find the objects, you have to trace the age of the object, and this radiocarbon dating is very useful in tracing the age. Every object has this element present in it. And when the object dies or becomes deactivated, the increase of radiocarbon element stops, and from there you are able to calculate the age. So archaeology, digging and radiocarbon dating is the first important way to trace the pre-modern history. Then the second important thing, coins, and the study of coins is called as numismatics. Rig Vedic period, there is no coin. Subsistence economy. Later Vedic period, there is no coin. 6th century BC, we see punch marked coins. And then we immediately come to the conclusion about the economy of the period. Mauryan period, we see the coins. Post-Maurya, coins play a very important role in post-Maurya. Coins are attributed to the kings, their faith. Gupta period, coins again play a very important role. So coins play a very important role in informing you the economic status, philosophy, religion, and some close information about the king of that time. Archaeology, numismatics. Along with archaeology and numismatics, you have third, inscriptions. Very important. Paleology. The study of inscriptions is called as paleology. And inscriptions are found on almost everything. Statue, the wall of the temple, seals, rocks, iron pillar, copper plate, etc., etc. But they are of following type: royal order, votive orders, donation, eulogy, and land grants. Ashokan inscriptions, Prayag Prashasti. Prayag Prashasti. Aihole inscription of Ravi Kirti. glorification of their patron king. Prayag Prashasti talks about Samudragupta, his court poet Harisain. Ravi Kirti was the court poet of Pulakeshin II. And initially, Prakrit was the lingua franca of the nation, then Sanskrit. And then, after 7th century AD, we find inscription in regional languages. According to historical value means information about the political history of a period. They are very important. I'll tell you exactly what historical value means. Archaeology, coins, inscriptions, and then literature. Religious literature. Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads, they lack historical value to an extent, but comparatively they provide a very good outcome of a particular period. Comparison with inscription, comparison with foreign accounts, Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads, then Vedangas, etc., etc. Then you have epics. Some historians have tried to fix epic period, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Although one is the social constitution of India, other is the political constitution of India. They tell you about the social structure, they tell you about the political structure, they tell you about the economic structure. Then you have secular literature, especially Dharam Shastras. Smritis and all, dramas of people like Kalidas, they become the part of secular literature, very important source of specific periods. Then you have biographies, semi-biographies. Harsh Charitra. Then you have Ram Charitra about the Pal king Rampal. Then you have Raj Tarangani, very important book, Raj Tarangani. It is considered as the first book, Raj Tarangani, which is written in modern style of history. The stream of kings, Rajaon ki Tarang, Ras Tarangani. And they all contribute to the vast information about ancient period. So 4 pillars of sources. One is archaeology, the material remains. Second is coins. Third is inscription. Fourth is literary sources. These are 4 important in literature. A very important part we will discuss in South Indian history, Sangam literature. It was to be composed in 3-4 centuries. Poems dedicated to hero and heroines, but throwing a considerable light on the culture, society, religion, of South India. They are the most famous Tamil source for creating the history of South India. Then all this can be corroborated by foreign accounts. In foreign accounts we have Megasthenes Indica. Very important source. Megasthenes Indica, Arthashastra and Ashokan inscription give a very sound picture of Mauryan period. Comparative study. It's a very important aspect of ancient Indian history. Comparative. So Megasthenes Indica, Arthashastra and Ashoka inscriptions. Then we have next important man, Faihan. Then we have Huensang. Then we have Itsing. Faihan never went to the court of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Huensang went to the court of, he got the patronage from Harshvardhan. So he was little bit biased to Harshvardhan. But these two people have presented a very unbiased history. Religious history not only consists of Hindu religious text, religious sources, Buddhist religious text, Jaina religious text, and finally the compilation of Pali literature completed in Sri Lanka. So material remains archaeology, coins, inscriptions, literary sources, foreign accounts. They come to be the most important sources to construct the history. But as the rational sense, the scientific sense was missing, historical sense was there. I'm going to discuss historical sense. So we require a comparative study of all these sources, and then to create the picture. Along with this, there are certain customs and traditions which is existing till today. So again we can compare the present one with the past one, and that gives the outlook of the ancient Indian history. Historical sense. Next heading. Now these imperial historians, especially V.A. Smith and V.A. Smith and Max Muller, they charged Indians that Indians lacked historical sense. It's true that Indians lacked historical sense in relation to the Greek approach of our writing history. Indians lacked historical sense in relation to the present approach of writing history. But Indians had a considerable historical sense. The pillars of history were clear to them. What were the pillars? What are the pillars of history? Change is the law of nature. Change is the law of nature, and things will change. Change is the law of nature. This is the first pillar of history, that things will change with the passage of time. Second pillar, time and space. Third pillar, period. Period. Fourth pillar, objective of a particular development. These are the four pillars of historical sense. Change is the law of nature. Now if you see Puranas, first pillar, change is the law of nature. If you see Puranas, they have the dynastic history of kings up to Guptas. And then they have divided the 4 important periods. 4 important periods. 4. Krita, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. And if you see them scientifically, the golden age, Krita, the golden age of human race. People are more conscious oriented. Human being will have 2 orientation. One is conscious and second is senses. And the more orientation will move towards senses, the period will see the human decline. Golden age, completely unconscious. So when you are completely on your conscious, you don't need anything in this world to save, to protect. Everyone will be happy. But then when you will move here, material developments will increase. Material developments will increase, senses will gain importance. When you will move here, again material development will increase. When you will reach here, material development will be at the peak. Now what will be at the peak? Senses. What will be the below? Conscious. The entire development will be centered around materialism. See? Who says Indians lacked historical sense? Second thing, time and space. Puranas say कि a custom or tradition depends upon space and time. Burial is suitable for desert. Islam is born in desert. Desert soil has no value. So burial practice is very suitable for Islam. Indian subcontinent, dense forest, land was required for cultivation. You have to develop something to cut off the trees, so burning of the dead bodies. See? A law moving out of its space, which is a dharma in a particular space, becomes adharma in another space. Consuming liquor is dharma in Europe, adharma in Saudi Arabia. See the historical sense? Third, periodization. 57 BC, Vikram Samvat. 78 AD, Shak Samvat. 319 AD, Gupta era. The 3 important pillars of history. are present in Indian sources. The three important sources of history have a good deal of historical sense. Change is the law of nature, that sense is present. Importance of time and space is present. Periodization is present. Objective, aim. Like for example, Varna system. Who created? Brahma. Because at that time there was no need to inform the common people. Religion was the constitution. And if it would have been written, it is being created because of the beginning of agricultural activity, working class is required, then it would have not been possible to maintain society and culture. That is missing. But that is done by the rational mind of present period. Historical sense. Last heading, constructing history. Now this is a challenging job in ancient period. We have a term, historical value. Now these epics, Puranas, dramas, Upanishads, historical value is very low. Because objective of writing is different. What is historical value? Information needed for reconstructing political history. Reconstructing political history. Information needed for reconstructing political history. That is historical value. Now the objective of Puranas was different. Epics was different. Historical value is low. Then what we should do? What is the challenge? The biggest challenge is relative importance of sources. Relative importance of sources. So what we do? We give more emphasis to coins, inscriptions, and archaeology. More emphasis in comparison to epics, Puranas, dramas. More emphasis will be given on this because they have a high historical sense in them. So more emphasis will be given on them. And then the comparative study. Comparative study. Comparative study. Including their comparison with the existing system. Including their comparison with the existing system. This is the types of sources, historical sense, and then constructing of history.